Hi everyone, so today I'm going to give you my impromptu thoughts and opinions on this new candle crock that I recently purchased. I got one for my sister and one for myself. So my sister has already tried it out for about 2 or 3 days or so, but this is how it looks like. Oh, I kind of skipped over this part, but this is a new crock and you can find it on candlewarmers.com. That's an online website. At least in the past, you were able to find candle warmers branded crocks on Boss. However, those have already sold out and they haven't restocked. So there's that. This is a new item for the fall 2025 and it is a pumpkin candle crock. The main difference that I see, if you can't tell already or if you don't have a previous crock from Candle Warmers, is that this one is a lot shorter than the others. Noticeably, but there's pros and cons, I guess. So let me compare it to the boxes of the other two crocks that I have. All right, so here are two other Crocs from the same brand, and if you can tell, there is a kind of big, sizable difference in the two. So as far as like the size of it, it's okay, but it's just shorter. These two are currently sold out if you're interested in it. Unfortunately, the left one came out as a seasonal candle crock, and the one to the right is one that has just this small little emblem. That's the one that my sister currently has going in her room. There was a cream colored crock that I was using in my room, but unfortunately the metal plate at the bottom broke, so my sister likes to use that in her office currently. So, okay, let me go ahead, change the angle one more time, and I'll show you what's inside the box if you do order the item. All right, so here's the top of the candle crock. It has really nice packaging, and I guess it goes well with the fall, autumn, seasonal theme. So I really love the packaging. There's no added bubble wrap or anything, but I feel like this box is really well designed for the crock, that it doesn't really move. So I'm pretty sure every box you're going to have some info and care card. Surprisingly, I've never seen this crock listed online, so I wonder if that will be coming soon, but there it is how it looks like, and it also looks a little bit taller, if I have to say. So here's how the pumpkin candle crock looks like. The main difference that I noticed is that the indicator light, which tells you if the crock is on or off, used to be red and now it is white. Again, much shorter than before, but if you can see, the metal plate goes all the way to the top. And then the cord is just your regular cord that has on and then off. So it doesn't have a timer or anything like that. One thing that I want to note that it didn't list this online is that this candle crock gets hot up to 20 watts. And one that my friend over at the Fragrance Fairy sent me, a few differences. Obviously, this one is a lot taller. There is no indicator light. So at times that is helpful to have an indicator light because sometimes you forget and then you touch it and then you accidentally burn yourself a little bit because these do get quite warm. So this one, it's a little bit harder to tell, but this candle crock goes up to 24 watts. So this one does get warmer. The main difference that I find with candle crocks from Candle Warmers is that this one has a metal plate all the way up until the top portion right here. So it warms up mainly from the bottom and then the heat just kind of creeps up a little bit. This one, it's different in the design where the plate, I guess the metal plate is just at the bottom. Obviously, after some time, the heat's going to creep up as well, but that's the main difference in the two. This one is shorter, has an indicator light. The one on the left has no indicator light, and it gets warmer and it's just at the bottom, the metal plate. So here is the size difference of the two. And then oftentimes this design, you will find it on Amazon. They sometimes have like inspirational quotes, like Bible sayings, and just other types of decor that aren't really my style, but this one's really a plain color, so it goes well in my room. But I almost forgot to compare it to a candle crock from the same brand. This is the cream colored one that was in my room. Unfortunately, there is a rip in the metal plate, so it's not the safest to warm, but here we are. So this is the size difference of the cream colored crock that you were able to buy on bosscos.com compared to the pumpkin one. So if you'd see, it has the same metal plate design going, but obviously one is a lot shorter than the other one. Let me get my sister's ruler just to give you a size comparison. So this one is maybe about roughly under 6 inches. And then this one is roughly over 4 inches. So that's a 2-inch difference. All right, actually, let me keep these in the same angle frame, and I'll take out my 3-wick candle from Bath & Body Works that I currently burned because I was doing a review on it. That is Strawberry Strudel. This is a standard size. You can find this type of shape, Yankee Candle, Goose Creek, other brands that are escaping me right now. So this is how it looks like in the new candle crock. You can see right there, you do have some leeway right here. However, sometimes these candles, these 3 wicks, they are overfilled. So it could be that the wax level is even higher than what is shown, or not what is shown, but than this candle crock. So that'll probably take a little bit longer. But it's really easy to kind of grab it, obviously, when the heat has cooled down and everything. And this is how it fits in the old candle crock. So if you notice, I would always put 2 of my thumbs on either side and then just kind of slowly lower it into the candle crock. So if you were to walk by and, you know, the indicator light is on, okay, a candle's in there, but you can't really tell unless you look overhead. So what is that? Maybe like about 1/2 inch lower. So this one is really good, and it's probably my favorite. I personally like this design that it's a little bit taller. Obviously, if you don't like doing that thing of taking out your candle by putting your thumb on either side, that could be a little bit of a hassle. But let me show you how it looks like with a Yankee Candle in there. I personally like using my candle lamp instead of a candle crock with Yankee Candle, but you know, just to give you some ideas. This one is one that I got from Ross in Berry Trifle. I really like it, but unfortunately it is light, so that's what candle crocks are good for. And this is the main problem that I have with these taller, bigger candles. There is a lot of, there's a lot of excess wax over here that it's going to take even longer to liquefy because it's not tall enough. I think that's maybe like the fatal flaw of this design. Well, not fatal, but I think that if it was just a little bit taller, it would have been perfect. So there's how it looks like. It shows the Yankee Candle logo and a little bit of the photo. Versus this one, it basically covers all of the wax, and the only part is this kind of lip part of the Yankee Candle right there. So I much prefer that one. And this, in my opinion, since it's covering more of the wax, it's going to melt it and give off strength and throw sooner than this smaller candle crock. All right, last one that we have is from Kringle. Normally these burn pretty okay, so I would never really put Kringle in a candle crock, but I know some people do. So, okay, this is Kringle Candle Lemon Sugar Marshmallow. Love the scent, by the way. So these Kringle candles are normally filled up to this label part. And basically, you can kind of see the problem that more than half of this candle is sticking out. I guess that's cool because you can see more of the design. But again, it will take a really long time for the wax to melt. Versus this one, if you just look at the bunny for comparison, it's like right at the eyes. This one covers all of the bunny. So it's just underneath the Kringle K in the label. And normally I would assume people would burn it a few times. And if they're like, oh, I don't want to continue to burn it, then this would be perfect. So yeah, that is how the candles look like inside of each crock for comparison. Since I mentioned this candle crock that you can find on Amazon, let me show you how it looks like compared to the new candle crock. All right, so just to refresh, that is how Strawberry Strudel looks like. I burned it maybe 8 times or so, and this is how the candle crock from Amazon. So it's very much the same dimensions as the older design of the candle crock. So I have that same issue where I need to slowly lower down the candle. This is how the Yankee Candle looks like. If you can see, the full entire logo is hidden, and I want to say it's maybe like a centimeter or two taller than the cream colored crock. And this is how the Kringle candle looks like. Yeah. Oh yeah, so this one is a little bit taller because if you saw my other comparison, it was below the K, but this one's right at that K logo. All right. And then for a side note, the cable, this one, it is a little bit longer and it's white, but it still has that like flip design, you know, on, off, on, off. But anyways, let me go back to show you how the pumpkin candle crock looks like in my sister's room. All right, so we are currently in my sister's office. You might hear some echoing because she doesn't have a lot of stuff in there, and she has, I think, a computer scan going in the background. So anyways, this is how the candle crock looks like with an older style single wick from Bath & Body Works. She's only had this on for about, I would give it like an hour or so. I can grab it still. So you can see right there, the candle crock warms the wax from the bottom up and also from the sides as well, but mainly most of the heat is coming from the bottom. So that is how it looks like. She personally, when she has her candle crock on, she likes to lean it to one side just so that it could help melt the wax. And right here, since the cable and the indicator light are on the same side and the outlet is over here, you don't see it. But if I were to go ahead and turn this around, it's not really too hot right now, so there's that. Here is how the indicator light looks like. Personally, if I could redo this design, I would put the indicator light on the opposite side of the cable because right here the cable's kind of bent over, and I would personally just have the indicator light on the opposite side. So here is how it looks like. The white light, again, I prefer it for some reason with the red indicator light, but that's just a personal preference. Yeah, for her single wick from Bath & Body Works, I believe that's, is it 7 ounces or 8 ounces? Let's see how much wax is in here. It's 7 or 8 ounces, and it takes about 3 hours for the wax to fully liquefy. That's why I prefer using my candle crocks with like half burnt candles or something. But since this crock is much shorter, I think it's better suited to melt wax instead of candles, because one thing, if you don't know, or maybe you do it yourself so you know what I'm talking about, is that you can get an empty candle jar, preferably a bigger one like a 3-wick. You can put wax pieces in there and then have it melt, and so I think it throws the scent better. And since it's not as tall as, let's say, a full-size candle, you get immediate scent throw, versus a candle is going to take a while. Like right now, a good portion of this part right here is melted, but I'm not smelling anything because there's unmelted wax right there kind of blocking the scent. All right, and just because I have it out, let me show you how the older candle crock and the red indicator look like. So I have the cable right here, and let me go ahead and turn it on. So that is how the older candle warmer's crock looks like. Same thing, at least according to my sister, she said that she didn't notice a significant difference in putting a same size single wick in this crock style versus the new one. Then again, she wasn't timing it or anything, but just by the design alone, I would assume that this one would, would melt it slightly faster, but I don't think significantly faster. So those are my overall thoughts and opinions on the new candle crock from Candle Warmers, etc. I don't know if I would have purchased 2 had I known it was about roughly, give or take, 2 inches shorter than the older style crock. I don't know if this is a new design or not, but there is definitely a difference. Personally, I feel, once again, just to reiterate, that if I do use it with candles, I would want it to be at least half burnt, because since it's not as tall as the other ones, there is more uncovered wax to melt. And I feel like that would add more time in order for me to smell anything, because with candle crocks, pretty much you need to wait for the whole entire wax to liquefy in order for it to give off scent. Some people, they have their candle Crocks going 24/7. So I don't know, for all I know, maybe some people that never turn off their Crocks, they can just easily, let's say, grab a Yankee candle, put it in, and then like take it out. And since it's shorter, they maybe don't need to do that dangerous thing where you kind of use two thumbs to slide it out. But it's very pretty. I love the orange color, the rib design. And for the price, it's a good deal, at least in my opinion. I think the only thing is that maybe the shipping, because if you don't reach the minimum $50 threshold, I believe shipping is about $9.99, so roughly $10. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions, what you think about this new design. I personally feel like I like their older designs, but with candle Crocks, those are a little bit harder to come by. Currently, if you're interested, I believe Hobby Lobby has a white colored Crock for about $14.99. Is it Hobby Lobby? I think it is. Yeah, so again, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.